Venezuela was once the wealthiest nation in Latin America, with the largest proven oil reserves on Earth. Today, it lies in ruins. Hospitals have no medicine. Cities go dark for days. Millions flee. Democracy is gone. What happened? And could it happen to us? Welcome back to Maps Explained, where we uncover the history and mysteries you never learned in geography class. Today, we dive into the dramatic fall of Venezuela, a nation that transformed from booming powerhouse to humanitarian disaster.
Political violence and economy in tatters, plus a disputed presidential election, have the people of Venezuela fearful and desperate.
A nation in default, an economy in ruins, a desperate struggle for millions.
Venezuela already has the world's highest inflation, and it looks like the economic crisis there is about to get even worse.
We'll reveal the 10 key triggers that drove this collapse and extract urgent lessons the West must learn to avoid the same fate. Stay with us, because by the end, you'll see how easily prosperity can slip into ruin, and what the future holds if Venezuela recovers or falls further into the abyss.
Venezuelan teachers are leading public sector workers in what have become the biggest anti-government protest in years. They are demanding higher salaries in the face of soaring inflation. The average monthly wage for public school teachers is around 500 bolivars, or about $20.
Venezuela's education system has crumbled. Chronic underfunding and political control have gutted its schools. Teachers earn so little they can't survive, and many have fled or quit. Classrooms sit empty or overcrowded. Students are left without books, internet, or even electricity.
It is extremely difficult because we want to do our job. But if we picture our reality, we can't. Because how can I do my job if my children are hungry? I'm a mom first.
The fall in oil prices, years of economic mismanagement, and soaring crime have brought Venezuela to a crisis. And the once envied school system is in chaos.
Worse, education is no longer neutral. The curriculum is politicized, focused less on science or literacy and more on government propaganda. It trains loyalty, not leaders. Dropout rates are soaring. Kids skip class to work or help their families survive. With no qualified teachers, no resources, and no future, many never return. The result is a generation that can't read, can't think critically, and can't rebuild the nation. A broken education system breaks everything else with it. Venezuela's economy has lost its brain. With no one to innovate, rebuild, or teach the next generation, even basic services collapse. The professionals are gone. Venezuela's doctors, engineers, scientists, and professors are fleeing.
We have no health, no food. We have nothing. Where kids die, we have a high degree of malnutrition, where you see people looking for food in the trash.
Their departure crippled hospitals, universities, and key industries. Entire hospitals operate without surgeons. Engineering projects lie abandoned. Universities can't staff departments. Without stability or opportunity, skilled professionals won't return. The brain drain becomes permanent. It's not just a crisis of infrastructure. It's a collapse of capacity. The courts serve power, not justice. Judges are appointed based on loyalty, not law. Courts ruled in favor of the regime, no matter how illegal the decision. Opponents are arrested on fake charges. Legal protections are illusions. Show trials replace real ones. In 2017, Venezuela's Supreme Court dissolved the opposition-led National Assembly. With the stroke of a pen, democracy vanished. When justice becomes a weapon, tyranny becomes law. Venezuela's legal system isn't broken, it's hijacked. Venezuela's government is run by generals. Over a third of ministries are headed by military officers. The armed forces don't just defend the state, They run its food programs, oil industry, even its schools. This shift began under Chavez, but exploded under Maduro. The military was paid off with power. In exchange, it protects the regime.
I've given the commander of strategic operations the order to put Minister of Defense Vladimir Padrino Lopez as head of the new program of sovereignty and economic development.
Corruption flourished. Soldiers smuggled fuel, stole aid, and controlled entire industries. Expertise was replaced with uniforms. Democracy can't function when the chain of command replaces checks and balances. Since 2017, Venezuela has faced escalating sanctions aimed at toppling Maduro's regime. The U.S. froze assets, banned oil exports, and blocked access to financial markets.
Nobody can use economic and financial measures to impose their political will over a country. Economic war, pressures, and blackmail are illegal. They ratify an imperial road of aggression.
But while the regime suffers, the people suffer more. Sanctions helped push the economy off a cliff. Imports collapsed. Medicine disappeared. Hyperinflation soared. When sanctions are too broad, they become a weapon against civilians, and they give dictators someone else to blame. Despite sitting atop massive oil reserves, Venezuela's infrastructure is crumbling. Roads are impassable, bridges collapse, water doesn't run. Power outages last days. In 2019, a nationwide blackout paralyzed the country for a week. Food spoiled. Hospitals shut down. Criminals roamed free. The regime blamed sabotage. Experts blamed years of neglect.
The hyperinflation in the country has virtually bankrupted the hospital. They struggle to buy light bulbs, and parts of the building have had to be boarded up.
Oh, they've had to completely close it? Because you had no supplies?
PDVSA, once a titan of the oil world, has collapsed. Untrained political appointees replaced engineers. Maintenance ceased. Corruption flourished. Output plummeted by over 70%. The irony is staggering. The country with the world's largest oil reserves can't keep the lights on. Venezuela's hospitals are shadows of their former selves. No medicine, no light, no clean water. Patients lie in hallways. Doctors perform surgeries with flashlights and reused gloves. Care is medieval.
The issue here in Al-Hala, I mean, we have some power restored to this city, but it is incredibly tentative. This remains a country on the edge, and the entire system is completely vulnerable. Hala?
This didn't happen overnight. Years of corruption drained resources. Populist policies misallocated funds. Imports dried up. By 2018, over 85% of essential medications were gone. Diseases once eradicated, measles, malaria, diphtheria, returned with a vengeance. Venezuela alone accounted for over half of all malaria cases in the Americas by 2019. The healthcare collapse isn't just a public health issue, it's a humanitarian disaster. Thousands of doctors have fled. Those who remain are overwhelmed. The sick are left to expire.
We have almost half of this hospital closed because we don't have enough nurses to work, we don't have enough medicines to use with the patients.
Free press in Venezuela is nearly extinct. Journalists are jailed. Newsrooms are raided. Hundreds of media outlets have been shuttered. The state now controls most of what people see and hear. What remains is filtered, censored, or flooded with propaganda. Government-friendly channels dominate the airwaves, while those who report the truth are silenced.
They robbed all our cameras, microphones, our equipment for the protection too, and we couldn't do anything about it.
Online media is attacked too. Websites are blocked. Social media users are tracked and arrested. Even memes have become dangerous. In Venezuela, silence isn't golden, it's lethal. Without truth, there's no resistance and no way back. Venezuela bet everything on oil. When prices were high, the money flowed. But there was no backup plan, no savings, no diversification.
Venezuela, once the richest country in Latin America, was experiencing the worst peacetime economic crisis in modern history. A third of its entire economy disappeared in 1 year alone.
When oil prices crashed in 2014, the economy imploded. The government printed money to survive, triggering hyperinflation. At its peak, the inflation reached 1 million%, making the currency practically worthless.
But he says there's no point in trying to save. Hyperinflation means anything put away today could be worth nothing tomorrow.
Citizens burned cash for heat, markets collapsed, and wages became meaningless. Price controls led to black markets and corruption filled the void. Oil wealth went from a blessing to a curse. Prosperity transformed into ruin. Over 7 million Venezuelans have fled, one of the largest refugee crises on earth. Those who remain face hunger, crime, and despair. Malnutrition is rampant. Over 95% of Venezuelans live in poverty. Hospitals turn away patients, leaving many children to pass away from treatable diseases.
Hospital staff was improvising, lacking everything from antibiotics to surgical gloves. Even the ceilings in intensive care were crumbling, a symptom of plunging oil prices which took Venezuela's economy with it, making things like food and medicine a luxury. The government denies the crisis and said it is exaggerated by the media.
The social fabric is torn. Families are separated and crime rules the night. This is no longer just a crisis, it's a warning. What happens next? The future of Venezuela hangs in the balance. In the best-case scenario, a shift in power, whether through negotiation or transition, could allow for rebuilding. Sanctions could lift, expatriates could return, institutions might be restored. But that path demands massive international cooperation and a break from military control. In the worst-case scenario, the regime hardens, sanctions continue, emigration rises, the economy stagnates permanently. Venezuela risks becoming a failed state, trapped in isolation and ruled by force. The most likely scenario is a painful in-between. Change may come slowly, through years of struggle. The West must decide, help Venezuela recover, or ignore it, and risk the collapse spreading beyond its borders. So what caused the collapse of Venezuela? It wasn't just one thing, it was a convergence. Economic mismanagement, political repression, brain drain, and institutional decay all acted like falling dominoes. The reliance on oil created a fragile foundation. And once cracks appeared, corruption, sanctions, internal strife, the collapse accelerated. The West can no longer assume its systems are immune. Venezuela's experience isn't an outlier, it's a warning. Strong institutions, free media, economic foresight, and respect for human rights are not luxuries. They are lifelines. Lose them, and even the richest nations can spiral into chaos. The collapse of Venezuela is not just a tragedy. It's a mirror, a reflection of how fragile democracy and prosperity can be when taken for granted. If this video made you reflect or gave you a new perspective on democracy, economics, or power, click the like button and subscribe to Maps Explained. What lessons do you think are most urgent for the West to learn from Venezuela's collapse? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Have another country or region you want us to investigate? Let us know. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and remember, even empires can fall if no one's paying attention.